welcome to Kay's Tiny House, where I, Kay, am building my very own tiny house, and I'm using my YouTube channel to document the mini adventures of learning new things along the way. I have zero build experience, but I have a lot of drive and the most amazing friends. So in this video, I wanted to share how I've installed the shower pan for the tiny house. This has been one of my biggest concerns, and this journey has gone through multiple phases, but there's a system in place. It has been installed. Hope for the best. So back in the day when I initially designed the flooring and how I was going to implement the floor frame, the idea was that the shower pan would be a fiberglass mat and resin. So this is very common on sailboats. And so not like a pre-made fiberglass pan, but we would have made it out of plywood and then put this fiberglass matting on, painted the resin onto it to harden it and make it waterproof, etc. So when we framed the floor, we included the slope for the drain as part of the flooring. And that's because we needed to go underneath the floor, obviously, for the slope. It's been a while since we did that, so I think it has lessened the effort that went into that, trying to figure that out. And after I got closer to needing to actually do the shower pan, I was doing more research, and I basically researched myself out of going the fiberglass route. Obviously listen to things on the internet with a grain of salt, including me, but it seemed like a fair assumption that the kind of smartest thing to do would be to use a tried and true foam board shower system. So Schluter's a big name in this world. I think Hydroboard, Go Board, and these options are a bit pricier, but they are more foolproof. Unfortunately, you need a level floor because their shower pans that are made out of the foam board already include the slope. So I had to figure out a way to take our beautifully sloped subfloor and make it beautifully level so that the wedge I purchased for the shower floor could be used. This was not an easy task. Anytime I looked at it, I would get very overwhelmed by the prospect. And once I got Doug involved, he was pretty overwhelmed by it as well. So that made me feel a little better knowing that this was a really tedious task, because we had to figure out what angle to cut these new pieces to make this level and flat again. So what we decided to do was cut wedges at the opposing angle to make it flat, and we would glue those onto the floor and then use a 1/2-inch piece of plywood on top at the right height so that with the wedge we cut, it would slope down, but also meet pretty evenly with the floor of the shower. I knew that I was going to use the Ditra membrane, which is made by Schluter, for the rest of the bathroom floor. It's going to be not a completely open shower, but a fairly open shower. So I wanted the entire bathroom to be waterproofish. And this membrane also allows you to put in wiring for heated floors. So that was another addition I added to my bathroom, was I really want these heated floors. So all of that said, I already bought the membrane and the tile that I wanted for the flooring in the shower so we could measure the right height. everything was cut and dry fitted. I also painted underneath with Red Guard to help waterproof just underneath that. Even though the shower pan is foolproof, no water should go through, obviously, just so that the foundation of my home doesn't start rotting without me knowing. Adding that layer of Red Guard was super comforting. Peace of mind. Red Guard is the pink stuff, I think is what it's called in the construction industry. It is a thick paint consistency that is supposed to waterproof whatever's underneath. So this is what it looks like the next day. Still looks pretty pink. We're gonna do a second coat. This is coat 2. It's pink again. Now I can tell the difference between the pink and the red. And now it'll be waterproof-ish. This puppy came to say hi. Mariah, who's a good girl? Crazy eyes. And then we just glued on the wedges because we were nervous to screw them in because they were already so small and thin. I didn't want to break them. Another tricky part was I have a linear drain, so there's very little space in between the drain and the back wall. So we also had to figure out, that was already level, but we still had to rise it up with the plywood. So we had to build a little piece there, and that was tricky to get that even with the other piece. So I'm back after having added Red Guard to the sides. It's definitely not 100% waterproof. I can see gaps, but it'll do. It'll do. And now I've added these 2 little shims of wood to act as a height adder for the drain so it can be at the right height. And now we're gonna glue on the plywood here. It has been glued on. You can see where the drain goes. Now it's time for the foam board that will have an integrated slope towards the drain. Then we cut a piece of foam board wedge where this will go behind the drain. And so you can see there is this side's easier to see. There's a slight incline. And then we've got these 2 little guys that will also go inwards. I may have to do a test because I can't tell. Oops. Which side? Is going in versus out. But we'll test it. Not bad. I chose to go with the Go board for the shower pan itself, and that was just one big wedge that we cut to size. I glued on the Go board to the 1/2-inch plywood. The instructions say to use thin set, and Doug was opposed to this for reasons, so he seemed confident that we could just glue it on, so that's what I did. all the pieces have been glued in. I'm using that as a weight. But here you can see the drain will go here. These little pieces slope this way slightly. This little piece slopes in. This little piece slopes in. This piece slopes in. So everything goes towards the drain, like a good shower should. I'm going to add sealant to all these seams to make sure water doesn't get through there, as well as along the whole perimeter. But when I add boards for the walls, those are going to come in a bit. Those are going to come in a bit as well. So there'll be sealant here, but then once the wall comes down, there'll be another sealant between the wall and the floor. So I'm hoping that is my double protection. my backup layer. And then I also plan to put like a membrane tape over that as well. Have not gotten to that step yet, but I have done the shower pan itself. It was a lot of math and a lot of like tedious figuring out angles. This was not my least favorite task, but you know, it had to get done and I wanted to make sure it was done well. The linear drain seems to fit in really well, so I haven't sealed that in yet. So the drain has legs on it that I've been adjusting to try and get this guy fairly straight at the right height so that the tile goes up to the lip. And then with mortar on it, hopefully it even is a little higher. So with mortar underneath the tile, this should go just a hair above the drain so that water doesn't collect here. But I think we're good. This feels like a good height. And then this is the tile that'll be on the floor. Oh, and check this out. This is the waterproofing membrane that's going to be on the whole bathroom floor, and I'm going to wire heating cables in here so that it can heat the floor. And we managed, this is where it meets up with the shower. And basically, you can't even tell that there is a change here. It is so even. So kudos to Doug for all his measurements, because that'd be crazy. Yeah, I'm feeling good about it. I just started installing the walls to the shower and the rest of the bathroom, and that'll all be the Go board stuff. That I had to put a pause in just because I ran out of the screws and the special washers that you can use with it to strengthen them, especially when you add tile to them. So that is that. But yay, one hard task out of the way, thank God. And hopefully I'll be ready to tile the floor of the bathroom soon, because once I finish the walls and then I can add the membrane to the rest of the shower and bathroom floor, I can then put in the wiring for the heating, and then I can tile the floor. So those are my next steps. Things are moving along, and I'm also simultaneously adding the flooring in. So I will post about that when that's done. That's been really fun, actually. Flooring is fun, so I'm hoping that the rest of the projects for this house are only fun. But anyways, Thanks for watching. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on the progress of the build, and until next time, bye!